Hey everybody, Chris here from Tiny Home Tours. I have some very exciting news for you today. The team and I have been working very hard on an online course for over a year now. The course is designed to help you live your dreams of living tiny. So the course covers a myriad of different things, everything from making money on the road, where to park on the road, relationships on the road, pets on the road, and we go into detail into traditional tiny homes, camper vans, RVs, and school bus conversions. Imagine this as your starter kit to living your dream of living tiny. So we are currently in the pre-launch stage, so we have a myriad of bonuses for you to check out. Be sure to check the link down below, and if you are watching this video in the future, there'll also be a link to our newsletter. The newsletter is the best place to find the latest information on the course, the new modules we added, and the live Q&A sessions. So, thanks for watching and enjoy today's video.
Hi, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. My name is Jen and this is my husband Kurt. We have two boys, Lucas and Logan, and this is our tiny home on wheels. Come on in, we'd love to show you around. Welcome to our kitchen. This is where I spend most of my time. I do all the cooking, and so I had quite a bit of say what I wanted to go in the kitchen area, and I'm excited to show you guys. So down here is where we have our 75-liter Dometic fridge. It is a dual zone. I keep one side refrigerated and the other side is frozen. All of our drawers are on these push locks, and they are plastic. One problem we've had with our fridge being so heavy, fully loaded down, it can weigh about 150 pounds. It actually broke one of these, so we had to add a little bit of reinforcements and put a slide lock down on there, and that seems to have done the trick. This is our other food storage. We have a pantry inside, and one cool thing that I thought was genius when Kurt was building this was he actually took standard size cans and things that we normally use and built the shelves around that height. So we knew going into it that things were going to fit in certain spots. Between the amount of storage that I have in here and the fridge, we can probably be off grid for about 2 weeks before we have to resupply, which is great. That means we have more time to go explore and just be out in the environment before having to come back and fight civilization, if you will. These are more storage. In here we've got just plates and where we keep our toiletries, our toothbrushes and whatnot. It's really been nice to have these little caddies to store things in. Not only does it keep your stuff organized, it keeps them from jostling around when you're driving, but also if you're going to go stay at a friend's house or a hotel, all you got to do is just pick it up and take it with you. You don't have to pack and unpack so much. We've got utensils in here and just more storage with cups and whatnot over here. So let's talk about our countertop for a minute. This is perhaps one of my favorite pieces of our entire build, and I think you guys could probably see why. This was a do-it-yourself epoxy pour. Kurt and I did the whole thing ourselves, and it was a labor of love. It took a long time, but you know, like most things, hard work pays off, and you have to be patient too. So this was actually a single slab of black walnut, and we did it in our garage back home in Tennessee. There's a few bugs and imperfections and whatnot that got solidified when it was drying, but in the end, when everything was actually cut and poured, I think we might have shed a tear of happiness because we're so happy and thrilled with the way that it turned out. We wanted to maximize countertop space, so that's why we went with a cutout for the sink here, and that's just an additional cutting board. My sink is kind of special to me. I know that sounds kind of odd. It's a copper sink, but at home in Tennessee, we renovated our kitchen there, and we actually got a sink just like this one, but it was about 3 times as big. So every time I look down at it, it kind of reminds me where we came from back home. And I was so thrilled when we actually found one on Amazon that was the exact same model. So that's kind of neat, just a little piece of home that travels with us. So our sink here, we've got running water. We're on an electric pump, and it's always on, so we don't have to turn it off and on. This also doubles as one of our shower methods. We have 2 methods. This is just one of them. It swivels, and we can point it outside. Our other method is out back, which I'm sure we'll get to here in just a little bit. Behind Mr. Pineapple here, we've got our inverter switch. We can turn it off and on. Our van is all electric, and Kurt can tell you the ins and outs between that better than I can, so he'll get to that point. But we've got two 120 volt plugs here. We've also got one underneath the bed. We have a dimmer switch here underneath, which is nice to be able to set the mood at night, or you don't want the overhead lights blaring. Up top, we've got some additional storage. This is like my bread basket, and baskets are a great way to help keep from things shuffling and moving around once again when you're driving. We've also got these little built-in lips on all of our overhead cabinets for that reason as well. We haven't had to mess with any bungee cords or whatnot. And our fronts are on gas struts with hinges, and we've added a bit of a magnetic lock here as well to help keep it shut so that things don't fly open when we're driving. Another request of mine, since I do all the cooking, was to have an open space for my produce and my spices. So I love my spice rack. I don't have to dig through the pantry and take a bunch of things out. It's easy access. I frequent these things all the time. And I try to keep my produce basket filled with fresh stuff because I love to cook. And we've got some additional cups and stuff that can hang on our clips. Keeps the clutter off of the countertop. When we're driving, we just store it down in the big drawer down here as well. So we've been on the road now for 9 months. We hit the road in January 2021. We sold our home, I quit my job, sold our cars, and I will say the first 2 or 3 months really was a bit of a transition for me in the sense of I realized how little I could do with. I didn't need 100 different shirts. I didn't need 100 different shoes. I didn't need all this stuff. This stuff in the house is just stuff. And you realize that society starts to put value on things that don't matter. And I think it was a big light bulb moment for me because it allowed me to declutter my mind and focus on what's in front of me, what's really important. So when you go into a home, you know, the first thing that you notice is how clean or dirty it is. I don't have to really worry about that. We live in 80 square feet, so I might sweep quite often, but it's not, oh gosh, the dishes are full, or I gotta go do the laundry, X, Y, and Z, right? So for the first few months, I realized how little I could do with. Less is really more. And I think initially just kind of learning our way in the van, respecting each other's space. Of course, we'd bump into each other. Learning where things go had a little bit of a learning curve. You know, you'd have to move things just to get to one thing, and then you have to put everything back.
Logistics,
and
yeah.
The logistics of it all.
Yeah, just getting everything to run smooth.
But I think that's the same thing that you would run into in a
yeah.
new home anyways. You just have to figure where things belong and where their home is. So I wouldn't really say that's too different than being in a normal house per se.
And I love it. I don't have to mow the yard. I hate mowing the yard. Got allergies. Southeast. Terrible, man. Terrible mowing the grass.
Yeah, that's
No grass to mow, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Simple life. I like simple. I've had way too many headaches and problems like you guys have, I'm sure. This is the best, man.
No HOA. There's no fines for weeds in your
yard.
yard,
I
or
mean,
your mailbox has
stuff.
to be a certain color, or you can't plant this bush or put that fence in.
Do I own this thing or do you? I swear I'm making a payment here on this house. But yeah, just simple, man. Simple life. We love it out here.
So with 4 of us in here, of course things get a little tight. There's about 80 square feet of living room in here. One of our ways to create more space is this fold-away seat that we got from Friedman Seating Company. I believe they're out of Illinois and Chicago. Super easy to put up and down. My kid can do it. He's 7 years old. Just 2 steps. 1 and 2. When we're driving, we have to have their car seats, of course, so they fit down in here. When we're not driving, we just store them up in the driver's side. The seat is DOT approved. It meets DOT safety standards, and it also has a built-in child restraint system, so full-size car seats do fit in here. And then when we get to camp, this is the first thing that comes up, along with our swivel seat here on the passenger side, and it opens this place up plenty. So we didn't put a swivel seat on both chairs for a reason. Number one being that we have to store our car seats up here somewhere, so that wouldn't make sense anyways. But also we've got a seat back organizer here for the kids. This is kind of their space, if you will. I kind of refer to it as their closet. So they keep their things, books, pens, toys, flutes. We've got some Game Boy stuff down here, you know, just things to keep them entertained. And it's their space. They can put in there whatever they want. Up here, we've got a shelf cubby slash charging station. This was one of those things that we had planned out, again, ahead of time, much like the drawers, where we knew where we wanted to store stuff and what was going to go in there. And one thing that we grab frequently are our cameras. So these fit nicely up here, easy access. We've got 2 USB charging ports in here as well. So we can charge batteries, we can charge our phones, anything that has a battery, basically we put it up there. We've got a little extra storage with these hammocks, and that helps keeps our cords and other charging cables just up out of the way. These can get everywhere. We've got a few other USB charging ports scattered throughout the van as well. One is above our sink here. We've got another one on the outside, and then there's also one back on the bed as well. So when we bought the van, it was just a big box. We had to cut in all of our windows and the fan as well. We went with 3 C.R. Lawrence awning style windows. We did that because we wanted to be able to still have airflow when it rains. So when you open these up, you can see it's just an awning style. The rain and the water just kind of trickles away from the van. We've got one here. Also lets the kids see some when we're driving instead of just our heads. And then we've also got 2 in the back on either side of the bed. Our walls are 1/4 inch thick tongue and groove cedar. Behind that, it's fully insulated with Havelock wool. We've also got Havelock wool up on our ceilings. This is Ponderosa pine. And we cut in a Max Air fan above our kitchen because we cook a lot and we wanted to be able to draw out the smoke. So our bed was really important to us. Sleep is very important to us. Without sleep, you know, we're getting older. Our days don't tend to go so well. So we did not skimp on our bed. This is a 6-inch high density custom size mattress. It is bigger than a full but smaller than a queen, but full size sheets with deep pockets fit on it. On top of it, we actually threw a couple of pillow toppers to make it more comfortable. And as you can see, I can still sit up here tall without hitting the ceiling, and Kurt can as well. I'm about 5'4", he's about 5'9", so anyone a little taller than us might have some problems. Underneath us, we went with wooden slats to help keep airflow. We didn't want any problems with mildew. And we also have our battery bank under our feet here, and that needs proper airflow to stay cool. We have 2 more C.R. Lawrence awning style windows right out here. We can open those up, creates a nice cross breeze. If that and the Max Air fan isn't enough, then we've got a marine swivel fan over here as well that we can turn on. And that seems to do the trick. Above our feet here, we have a few more overhead cabinets, and this is a his and her closet. And underneath, I've got another hammock. This holds our jackets and whatnot. We just store extra blankets and pillows over here for when the kids are ready to go to bed. It's just easy access to grab and make their bed. So under our sink here is where we keep our composting toilet. We went with an Airhead composting toilet over the Nature's Head for a couple of reasons. The main one being that for the Airhead, you can do your business, number one, anywhere in the toilet seat. And with 2 young kids, it's hard to teach them to aim in certain areas. So for this one, you can go anywhere in it and it's all going to drain into your liquid container, versus the Nature Head is very specific and you have to aim for the hole. For the 4 of us, we find that we end up having to change the liquid container about every other day, and the solids we change out about every 2 to 3 weeks or so. We also have additional storage, keep our toilet paper, wipes, cleaning materials down here as well. And if you haven't noticed either, our framing for our kitchen galley and our bench are all made out of 80/20. We did that for several reasons as well. It's lightweight, it allows airflow, and again, when you get to the back side, you'll see our entire bed underside is made out of 80/20 as well. Underneath our passenger seat, we have our S-Bar 4kW gasoline heater. It does have the high altitude kit on it, but I'll be honest with you guys, it's been temperamental, even at high altitudes. We find that around 8,000 feet or so, it tends to want to kick off on us and not stay on. So we've had to watch our altitude a little bit. It is a little limiting in colder weather where we go. It's a little disappointing considering how expensive these units are, but it is what it is. It works great when it works, so it's a love-hate relationship. So as I mentioned earlier, I love to cook and I don't always want to be inside, especially when the weather's nice. So for that reason, we decided to add a Lagoon table mount out here. We also have one on the inside underneath the bench area, so we can take that tabletop and either use it inside or put it outside, and I can cook here, plug my induction cooktop up in the 120 volt right here. This is our lighting controls. We've also got a floodlight on the back here. So if we hear a strange noise at night, we've got a switch here and one by our bed as well. We can just flip it on. Also gives us lighting outside when we're playing around at night. Of course, we got a bottle opener and another USB charger here as well. So traveling with kids does bring about a whole different slew of issues, I guess you could say, than if you were just traveling with your spouse or solo by yourself. And I think the biggest thing that we face is how we spend our time.
We're busy, man.
We are busy.
We're really busy.
And you might not think that we're busy because we're out here, we got the whole day to do whatever we want to do. But
Mama, I'm hungry.
I've got schooling I've got to do with the kids, and I've got mouths I've got to feed. There's something that usually needs some kind of tending to or mending or fixing, and he's usually on top of that. Of course, there's still some forms of work that we are involved with.
Teaching the kids.
Yeah, I mean, every
school.
moment is a teachable moment out here. I don't care what time of day it is. Everything you can use and learn from it. So how we spend our day and how we divvy up our time, there's really no formula for it. There's a bit of variation between day to day, and I'd say the biggest thing that we struggle maybe with them too is the travel days. We try not to travel longer than maybe 3 or 4 hours if we have to move, because they get really antsy. We got to let them out. We try to find playgrounds all over the place. That's a great way to let some of their energy out. They really look forward to finding new playgrounds. We found some pretty awesome ones. Where were those when we were kids? I mean, ships and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Phoenix has like the best playgrounds.
Yeah, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Every corner. All right, so to the back of the van, we get a lot of questions about our storage on the back. This is a custom aluminum box, and we keep usually firewood or trash up above, and we keep inside like chairs, traction boards, kids' toys, things like that. Same with this box. This box, we went ahead and went with Tractor Supply box to kind of cut weight and cost on the back. This upper box here, we put our dirty clothes in. So basically anything that's stinky or smelly, or we have some hoses in here to fill up water. We have a few fire pits. We have a fire pit that we can put, so we can put out and do some cooking outside. So anything like that that's stinky, smelly, wet. We got some shoes in here as well. All right, and these boxes here are tied into a custom bumper, and they have a swing arm, dual swing arm set up, so we're able to get into the back doors. All right, so the garage, the back of the van here, we're gonna start on this side. We have a bin here for clothes. We have some camping gear, and these blue canisters are for our drinking water. These filter the water we put into the van.
And as most of you you'll probably agree, water is very important, especially on the road where you're getting water from different sources. So we actually have a 4-part system here. There's 4 canisters. 3 of these filter the water that go into a 50-gallon water tank. And then when the water gets pumped out of there, it goes through another filter to our faucets. We have storage here. We actually kind of had a compromise with our oldest son. He wanted a bike. We ended up with a 1-wheel. So I guess that's not too bad. We have stuff in here for a shower. We have just miscellaneous bug net for the back. We have toilet paper, paper towels. Let's go to our power system. We ended up with 3 100 amp hour Battle-Born batteries. They are lithium. And what converts the 12 volt into 120 is a Victron 3000 Multi-Plus. Now there's a few ways that we charge those batteries. One of those is out here with shore power. We have a plug out here in the back of the bumper. Another way is we have a Red Arc 50 amp DC to DC charger. So while we're driving, it charges the batteries. And the third way we do it is by solar. So we have a 325 watt residential Panasonic panel, and then we have 2 100 watt rich solar panels. And if some of you guys that know a little bit about electricity, those panels are different voltages. So the Panasonic panel is a 70 volt panel versus the rich solar are 20 volt panels. So the big panel, the Panasonic, goes through its own solar charge controller, which is an MPPT. And the 2 smaller ones actually go into the Red Arc. The Red Arc DC DC also has an MPPT solar charge controller in it. And also here in the back we have a shower setup. So we have a quick connect here. The hose is in that big aluminum box on the back. And then we have our privacy tent down here. We have a little wooden stand that we stand on. And underneath here we have 2 valves, so we can adjust the hot and cold to make the water just right. And what supplies our hot water is we have an ISOTemp 5.3 gallon electric water heater up under here as well. So this garage is absolutely packed. Plus you can see the 80/20. Again, this stuff is amazing. Strong, light, love it. Very time consuming and expensive, but well worth it. Above me we have a Dometic awning that's legless, and we love the Dometic awning. And one of the things that really sold me on this awning is I watched a YouTube video, and this thing can take some serious wind. So that actually is tied in to our custom roof rack. So we got the solar panels tied in up there, obviously, and we have the Dometic awning tied in as well. Now we wanted to do a deck on the top, but due to the weight of the van, we scratched that, but I still left the support beams up there so I could walk across and I can clean the solar panels off.
I will say he was probably the magic that made this happen. If you'd have told me 10 years ago this is what we'd be doing, I say you're absolutely nuts and crazy. But when he starts talking about something, he is the type that's going to go get it done. So we spent all of 2020 building this thing out, and I can't tell you the countless hours that he put into researching, watching other videos, calling people. We went to several van rallies ourselves and checked them out in person. So, you know, if you're interested or curious about it, my biggest advice would be just go submerge yourself in that world for a little bit. Go talk to somebody who does it. Reach out to somebody. You never know what's going to come from a simple hello. Take
short trips. Just get in your car. Just do some weekend stuff. Just get out and say, what do I need? What do I don't need? What do I do need? And just do it, man. Just get out there and
Nike, right?
Do
just
it,
do
man.
it. thank you so much for joining us in our van tour. We hope you guys found some value in that and learned a thing or two. If you want to catch up with us in real time, check us out on Instagram at Overland Uncharted. We also have a YouTube channel, Overland Uncharted, where you can keep up with our family's adventures and whatever else is to come.
Yeah, if you have any questions, comment, or whatever, hit us up on Instagram or YouTube, and we'll do our best to get back to you.